In this episode, I'll share the top 3 mistakes I made that led to imbalanced relationships and me feeling undervalued and unappreciated. If this sounds like you, be sure to tune in and listen as I share the mistakes and what I've learned from them so we can do something else instead. Hi, I'm Jen Barnes. You're about to experience how to ditch the old ways of doing things, build resilience, and move from being overloaded and stressed to stepping into your personal power. Welcome to the Self-Loved Woman podcast. Hey, it's Jen. I'm about to share the top 3 mistakes I made that led to imbalanced relationships in which I was doing the bulk of the work, if not all of it, and for which I rarely felt appreciated and valued, and instead often felt unseen, unheard, and unloved. So mistake number 1 is people-pleasing. I did this in an attempt to get people to like me so I would fit in. Oftentimes, it meant me morphing myself in some way to keep others happy and keep them from being mad at me, something I was really scared of experiencing. And what I learned is that by focusing on pleasing others, I never really fit in and I lost myself. They likely experienced me as superficial or fake, like they couldn't plug into anything, which was true because I wasn't sharing my authentic self. And so they didn't connect or open up with me in the way I had hoped. And by showing up in this way, I lost my connection to who I really was, what I wanted, what I enjoyed, and what lit me up. So not only did I not belong with them, I stopped belonging with myself. Mistake number 2 is saying yes to everything people ask for. And while this is often linked to people-pleasing in some way, I did this as a way to be seen as valuable and a hard worker who was worthy of promotion at work or school and worthy of friendship and love in my personal life. And what I learned is that when I said yes to everything everyone else wanted, I had little left over for myself, both in the way of time for rejuvenating self-care, as well as in that I didn't have time to do things that filled my soul. This led me to feel depleted and exhausted on a soul level. And not only did I not feel valued inside of myself, it looks like my cat Brielle is joining us here. Not only did I not feel valued inside of myself, it turned out people didn't really value me as a person. They just liked what I did for them and then rarely returned the favor. More recently, I learned that when we do things for people that they could really figure out for and do themselves, we enable them and take away their opportunities for learning and growth. This is especially true of children who are way more capable than we often give them credit for and who do really want to learn, at least deep down, even if they outwardly fight it in some way. Mistake number 3 is not setting boundaries and following through on them. I did this, one, because I didn't learn about boundaries until my mid-20s the first time I went to therapy. But once I had, I didn't do this. I often didn't set boundaries or follow through on my boundaries in order to avoid conflict and save the relationship. My deeper fear was that the important people in my life wouldn't like me and would leave, or that having that conflict would wreck our relationship. Plus, I felt bad because they often needed, or seemed like they needed, what I had been giving them or doing for them or allowing. And I didn't like arguing or conflict, so it was just easier to keep doing what I was doing even if I didn't like it and it was hard on me. What I learned is that this only works for a short time. Eventually, it created relationships in which I was only valued for what I did and gave to others, so that I ended up feeling used and unappreciated, with the people in my relationships rarely reciprocating. And I ended up feeling exhausted and resentful because my needs went unmet, and it seemed like the people in my life really didn't care about me all that much. I learned that I needed to communicate my boundaries to be valued in relationships, and so others knew how to treat me. I learned that the people who don't stay are truly only people who were there for what they could get out of me, not because they actually loved and cared about me, at least not the way I needed. And I learned that the people who stay are those who do love and care about me and are willing to work together to mutually meet our relationship needs in healthy ways. Most surprisingly, as I set boundaries and was around others who set clear boundaries, I learned that I actually felt safer with people who communicate their needs and set boundaries clearly, because then I know exactly how they want to be treated and trust that when I miss the mark, they will communicate with me honestly and directly instead of being like secretly upset at me, passive aggressive, or even aggressive. So if you want to see how I was able to create more balance in my relationships, truly feel loved and valued, and communicate and stick with my boundaries in kind and compassionate ways, you're welcome to DM me on Instagram at Pathways to Wellness MN, because I might have something to help you. Be sure to follow and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.